Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and we are unboxing and creating with UPCRATE 21, which is for May 2021. Before we fully get into the mix of things here, be sure to make sure you have subscribed and have those beautiful notifications turned on so you don't miss any more videos like this one. But let us begin with the contents of this box. The first thing that is apparent is it is a watercolour box, and I am loving that. And the thing that gave that away were the 3 watercolour pans that we had. We also have some paper, a little paintbrush and a pen. And another mystery box in there which we'll open in a moment. The month's featured artist is Shelmer Art, I believe, and I love that print. That is so nice. Hopefully when I move house I'll be able to put all of my prints back up on a wall and have them all around me to inspire me. There are also the same flower leaf shape design on the sticker sheet as well, which I think is a nice touch too. This month's UPCRATE magazine has some handy dandy tips on how to use the watercolours, and it does suggest as well that the 3 colours we got are pretty random, and I'll get to that in a bit. So what is in the mystery box's mystery box? Well, I actually quite like this. I know I can't actually create anything with it, but considering I've got so many loose pans at the moment in general, it's actually really nice to have a nice little set to put them into. It looks like it can hold half pans as well as full pans, and I really like this mixing palette because it's got a nice little tongue and groove to it and it doesn't rattle around in the lid. It can be removed, so that means I can clean it properly without compromising my watercolours. So yeah, I'm loving that. And speaking of watercolours, the brand that we have been sent is Lucas. I have seen them before on websites but never got the chance to try them, so I am super chuffed that I have a little sample set here. I believe they are artist quality, which is nice. I'm always up for that. That probably explains why there's only 3 rather than a lot of them, but hey, I don't mind. I love watercolours, so it's just more for my collection. The 3 colours that I have are Permanent Lemon Yellow, Sap Green and Paris Blue. It would have been nice to have been one of the lucky people out there who would have got the magenta, but you can't have everything now, can you? And well, it's nice to have a challenge, I guess. It's going to be a very green painting though. The pen that we have is a Sakura Glaze, and I think I featured one of these a couple of years ago back in Inktober, and it was a clear one. These are really interesting to work with, especially the clear one. I haven't tried the black one yet, but they provide a slightly raised surface when they dry, so they are an incredibly juicy gel pen. And there is a little bit of waiting time to ensure that it's fully dried, because it looks wet still when it's dry, so I'd give it a good 5-10 minutes before going over it in anything water-based. The little paintbrush we had is an UPCRATE by Borsiani Banazzi. I don't know if I've said that right, and I'm not really sure what size it is, but it is teeny tiny, so there we are. Luckily, if you'd noticed on the last pages of the UPCRATE magazine, it says we can use any paintbrush, which I am very happy about because that's such a small brush, and even though the paper we only have is a 5, still a lot of work to do, right? And speaking of paper, the paper we have is the Bockingford by St Cuthbert's Mill, and it is a cold press knot, whatever that means. And that's also 300 GSM, and it has a nice texture to it. And of course, let's not forget this month's UPCRATE battle, which is Shades of Spring. Oh, I almost forgot to mention we got a little sachet of salt, which I'm not going to use in today's video because I just want to play about with the paints a little bit more, and for what I had in mind, I don't think it'd go very well with the textures I wanted to achieve, and I think it might not come off the page properly due to the jelly pen. Now, with the limited colour palette that I have, which is predominantly going to be green, I thought I would create a green woman, and you know I'm a little partial to drawing the green man, so it seems only a nice direction to go to draw a female version. I thought I'd show in a little bit more of my drawing process when it comes to adding all of the borders in, and I will touch on that on another video in the future once we've got those pesky mermaids out of the way. But if this helps, having a good ruler and a good compass will go a long way, and finding the centre point of your paper is always a great way to start off a border. But let's talk about the now, shall we? So yes, I thought our green lady would have a daisy theme to it at the moment. I actually wanted to go out and enjoy spring and get some inspiration and do a lovely little video montage to add to this. However, British springtime can be a little bit unpredictable. Last year it felt like summer. This year it still feels like we're in winter, and it has been raining all day. Even my dog didn't want to go out in this, and we had to have a little chat before either of us left for the door for walking tonight. But with that being said, we went for a green lady instead. The pen that came kind of gave me a Cern relief kind of vibe, and if you know what Cern relief is, it's used in glass painting and it sort of gives a stained glass effect, which is kind of what I was feeling with this one, especially with the Art Nouveau style to it. With the pen creating a raised surface, that allowed me to add quite a lot of water in areas without fear of it spilling into other colours, even though predominantly everything's going to be green here. And that allowed me to experiment and play a little bit with some colour mixing on the page. So I used the Paris blue in the top two corners you can see there, and added a drop of that lemon yellow. I had a hunch that Paris blue was a granulator, even though it wasn't a massive one, it still was one all the same, and adding that yellow in there, which I don't think was a granulator, just sort of pushed the pigments to one side and just created a really nice effect, which I liked. I chose to keep the blue in the background just neat and keep it nice and rich, and just push it around a little bit with a wet brush, and again I like that. And outside of the daisy ring, that's what I'm going to call it, I went again and added a bit of yellow, again just for some texture, which I also carried on around the external border there. I actually really enjoyed painting with these paints. I know it's such a weird thing to say because you'd imagine watercolours to be the same, but they're not. They've all got different personalities and different ways they apply to the paper. But these activated beautifully, they didn't need soaking for long, and when it came to removing the paint from the pans and placing it into the mixing palette, it was lovely. It was a nice consistent amount as well, and I enjoyed these paints a lot. I think my only gripe, and again it's not really because I still got a challenge from this box, but it really would have been nice to have had a magenta colour or something with a hint of red to it. There is I can never pronounce it, so you're going to have to use your imagination, violet. And over on Romy's Art Journal channel, and I'll leave a link below in the description or in the comments to her channel, if you want to see how that particular violet performs, I do recommend you go and check her channel out and show a bit of love as well. And she produces a really lovely painting with that, and it's a nice relaxing video too. But yes, something with a bit of a red tone perhaps just would have aided me quite a lot here, but we are where we are, and I decided to go full green with our character here. So yes, she definitely looks very earthy and very springy. For her hair, I guess because we've got these similar colours, I thought I'd go to town a little bit with the layering, so I started with the yellow, then went in with the sap green, and then to add some of that depth and movement with the hair, I used that Paris blue. And it layered really nicely. These paints were lovely to work with. There was no horrible outlines on largely pooled areas of water. It blended beautifully. I didn't need to lift anything off, so I can't really tell you how that performed. But when I was layering, I didn't feel like it was unnecessarily removing those underpainted coats, if that makes any sense there. For her skin tone, I just added a medium wash of the lemon yellow, and then introduced the sap green as well as that Paris blue, just to add some depth and details in there while it was all still wet. Once it was dried, I went and added her eye details as well as a few shadows around her eyelids. I also added the shadows under her nose and around her nose and painted in her lips. Now, how fabulous would that have been if she'd have had a really nice scarlet colour in there? But never mind, maybe I might have to go and get some more of these Lucas paints myself because they were really nice to paint with. I introduced a little bit of the lemon yellow to the petals in the background daisy, and I thought it would be quite nice to carry that yellow on around the main border as well, and I quite like that. All in all, it's a very, 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 very green painting, but I quite like it. I really enjoyed this box, and again, even though I can't create anything with the palette setup, I actually think that is so useful for me, at least me anyway, because like I mentioned earlier, I have so many loose watercolours, and the little tin I had with the magnets, well, that's full now, so at some point that collection is going to keep expanding. Even the little paintbrush was nice to work with too, especially for those little areas. But hey, here we are, we're all finished, and I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you enjoyed the painting, and of course let me know in the comments what you think of this box. Of course, I want to say a massive thank you for watching, and if you're new here and you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the art subscription unboxings, I'll leave the playlist on the screen, and I will see you lovely lot on the next video. Bye!